All right, how to evaluate financial opportunities without getting scammed. I'm doing a big series on just a bunch of questions um, for younger fellas. I'm 25, I got $278,000. Don't really know what I'm doing with all these presentations. Hopefully, I can start figuring out what the best way to present is, working my communication skills, and then the idea is later on, years down the line, after practicing, refining this whole process, is that it becomes very distilled. But for now, it's going to probably seem very rambled like all the other ones that I've done. And yeah, we'll just try to go through it. The big part, I guess, with that is writing down the thoughts and then refining them. I don't really spend much time on presenting because if I do it later on, it's going to be much better. And this is just practicing the thoughts and communication behind it. So I made all this stuff with Gamma. Some of the stuff in here, either the pictures don't make sense or some of the words aren't really how I would articulate it, but that's just what it is for now. Real story, close calls with scams, work situations. Verbal agreements are bad. I'll tell you that. Get that stuff in writing, then you don't have any disputes later on, and then if also they screw you over, you can go take legal action if you choose to do so. Uh, Verbal agreements are not good. Or vague deals. I've been screwed over by that, and that's cost me the most out of anything. I like to trust people a lot. Um, get it in writing. Just please do that. Money and friends. Lend money to friends. Lending money is bad. Dave Ramsey talks about that. Something about like the borrower is slave to the lender. I wouldn't do that. I would just give them money if anything. Changes the dynamic permanently. And then also, I did get screwed one time. I don't really, or I guess I don't really borrow money to friends at all. If they need help, I'll give it to them if I choose to do so. But one time I put a down payment for an apartment when I was choosing to be homeless after high school. I was gonna pay $300 a month. I gave my buddy $60. I haven't seen him in 8 years. He was a childhood friend. Um, Whatever. Long story short, and then he took $60, never talked to me again, and then threatened to beat me up after I was emotional, and I messaged him on Instagram, I think. Excuse me. Money and friends or family, usually not very good. So I kind of leave those separate, unless you're just giving it to them to help them out. Investment approaches. Now, I've never gotten scammed on an investment approach, um, but if it sounds too good to be true, probably don't do it. Some people made a whole bunch of money in crypto and NFTs, and some people lost a whole bunch. Or some of my buddies have gotten scammed by people saying, like just regular scams, like product reviews. I'll give you all these money in gift cards. They put $500 in your bank account, and then they take down 2,000. Sounds too good to be true. Probably not very good. Red flag. This is what I do to avoid excessive secrecy. Legitimate opportunities are transparent. If somebody won't explain how the money works, where it goes, or who's involved, walk away immediately. You need to know exactly who these people are, what securities they have. Um, you need to know where your money's going. So, something seems a little weird, a little hairy, go with your gut, don't do it. Poor communication. If there's delayed responses, vague answers, or avoiding direct questions, not good. Professional operations communicate clearly and promptly. They're there to serve you, given that you're giving them money. So if there's poor communication, just like secrecy, not good. Too good to be true is probably the biggest one that we need to focus on. Promises of guaranteed returns, quick riches, can't miss opportunities are all scam tactics. Don't do that. Don't feel rushed. Even if you're gonna miss out on a big upside, never feel rushed when investing in money. Real investments carry risk that legitimate advisors disclose up front. They say, hey, there's a risk to this. If they say there's no potential downside and whatever, whole bunch of terminology, sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Inconsistencies. If stories change, details don't match, or shifting explanations, it reveals dishonesty, and you don't want to give your money to anybody who's dishonest. All of this stuff, if it seems too good to be true, or if you have a gut feeling that it's not going to work out, don't do it. That's also why I do large indexes, large companies, everything large, because they have the largest track record and less risk. This is what I mean by I made this with Gamma. I'm pretty sure this is Japanese or Chinese. I can't speak or read either of those. So That is what it is. My personal rules for giving money. Check the track record. So this is, let's see, run lost, small, verify, document everything. This is not giving money to friends, family, or people who need it. This is for giving money as an investment or banking. I check the track record, how long the company's been there, or I guess it is a little bit. Track record, Cam, for example, he's been my buddy for 2 years. Doesn't have a very good track record, messed up a couple times, several times, stuff like that. I don't give him money. I'll give him clothes, food, shelter, shower, whatever he needs in that sense, but I don't give him cash because I know he's probably not going to use it for the best things to get ahead in life. Now, if it's for a company and I'm investing with them, that's why I pick Fidelity. For investing through, I pick the large tech companies because they have a track record to go there. So track record, how stable are they or the company, and then what do they do with the money? Do they invest it? Do they spend it poorly? Whatever it is. Past behavior predicts future actions. Not always, but the majority of the time, yes. Run the loss test. Ask yourself, if I sent this money and never saw it again, would it be okay? If the answer is no, don't send it. Never risk money you can't afford to lose. Now, I am super big with this. If you're giving it to a friend or family, don't lend any money. Just give it to them. That is a loss. That's fine. So if you never saw it again, would it be okay? It better be if you're giving money to friends and family because you don't want to lend money and change that relationship. But I even do this with a bank. One of the banks here have several branches and stuff like that. I didn't know if it was going to work because, I don't know, maybe I'm nuts. But I sent $1,000 over first, made sure it went through, and then I did $1,000 increments up to, I don't know, 10 or 15,000, and then I wired the rest of it. I don't change banks very much, so I was really risk averse about it, and that's what I did there. So, yeah. Start small and verify. This is kind of what I just did. Send $1 if you're sending it to friends or a small business, and then for the banks, I did $1,000 increments. Verify all the account details and stuff like that before you start throwing money over there, and then document everything. So if something happened, when I sent over the Zelle from bank to bank, I took screenshots of everything and I documented it all just to make sure if something did weird go happen, I'd have something to bring to them and say like, hey, something wrong would happen. Here it is. Then gradually increased it to $10,000. There we go. There's the bank approach. A couple numbers are different. Sent the dollar, sent 1,000, then gradually increased to 10,000 and wired the rest of it. How to research opportunities. Ask industry experts. So connect with friends. Probably not industry experts, but I think talking to the more people and the more opinions and perspectives that you have, the better big picture you'll have. Also read some stuff from the Wall Street Journal or anything if you're talking about investing. Talking to more people, you're going to understand the landscape, recognize legitimate opportunities, and can spot red flags that you might miss. Industry insiders. Nobody really knows industry insiders, besides Nancy Pelosi, I think. Provide reality checks that online research can't match. So actually talking to people and seeing what their experience is. If you're going to invest in dividend stock that goes down, but your friends do it, or crypto, whatever it is, maybe they'll have information that you don't know, and you can kind of skip some of the online research because they filtered it out. They've already done it, and then you can see what they do. Verified legitimacy, research history. Just basically look at a track record. Also, if it's kind of something weird, like Gemini credit card, for example. I hear that a lot from Graham Stephan or Caleb Hammer, stuff like that. I usually look up the company name. So in this case, I would look up Gemini plus scam. And I would see complaints about it to see if other people have experienced it. Something else was like something I wanted to do, not necessarily for research, but it was Alex Hormozi's books. And this website was saying that he had a special affiliation with him, and he was going to, for like $100, give you all 3 books and then all these other playbooks. I looked up the company, I put plus scam, I saw a whole bunch of complaints, and I saw a whole bunch of people saying like, this is a scam, don't do it. Everything on there, their website, their Instagram, everything looked very professional, but I always look up scam, just to see what happens. Trust your network. When you meet professionals in the field, ask questions. So I even messaged a guy, he was part of this real estate team, and I wanted to learn more about real estate. And I told him, hey, I maybe will invest in the future. I don't know if you have time. I know you're a realtor. You're specialized in investment properties. Could you please just talk to me about this, and I can ask you a bunch of questions for an hour? I was surprised, but he said yes. So I think you could try other people in your network, or if you run into somebody There's been other people at my airport job who talk about investing, or people who own businesses who I somehow meet. When I have the opportunity to talk to them, I ask them as many questions as I can to try to learn as much as I can. Try to do that if you can. Pro tip: don't solely rely on institution. Combine your gut feeling with expert opinions and thorough research. Scammers are skilled at building trust, objectify or not no objective verifications. Catch with or I don't even know what I said here. Um, Basically, just get a whole bunch of perspectives. Don't just trust one person or one thing promising all this stuff. Common scams for 18 to 30-year-olds. Get rich quick schemes. Holy smokes, I cannot talk today. Cryptocurrency pumps. They call it shitcoin, day trading secrets, all these other courses, and get rich quick, no downside. Probably all a scam. I haven't really done them. I just avoided them all. They prey on people's ambition and desire for financial independence. I don't like anything that says get rich quick or guaranteed no downside. Fake tech alerts. This happens all the time. So I get this with, here, let's see, malicious software. You know where that's coming from. Malicious software, or if you click on whatever pop-ups, don't click on any pop-ups. Close it. If somebody starts taking control of your computer, shut it off, disconnect it. Take off from the power cord. Any fake tech alerts. If you're young, you're gonna know this is not true, unless you have something other than Apple. I don't know. I heard Apple can't get hacked or whatever. Cool. Excuse me. Yeah. Business owner scams. When I started working at a dealership, these happen all the time. We get fake Google listing verification calls or emails, and then you'll get a whole bunch from Facebook ads that's threatening you to that your account's going to get suspended, that your account's going to get deleted because of this and that. I can't believe how much of this stuff is fraudulent. Scams that were going on, and then directory fees. All of this stuff through Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. There's so many threats that go on. I didn't run into one that was actually legitimate. So if you run into one of those, just check the policy, make sure you're not screwing up anything. And then otherwise, I just ignore it. And I'm like, an official website or official email will message me. And sometimes they'll look like it in the Gmail. They'll say like, oh, hey, this is from Meta Google. And then you click on the actual address, and it's some random numbers and random stuff. They're just fishing for you. Okay, when I turned down bad opportunities. Crypto. Random cryptocurrencies with no fundamentals were pumped up like stocks like AMC and GameStop. It's very exciting, but I avoided that. And meme stock. So I don't know if it's Doge or whatever meme stocks that you have, or meme cryptocurrencies. I never really wanted to do this. Let's see. I did put a couple $100 in AMC. I fell for this one time. Then I pulled out. The excitement wasn't worth the risk. They go way down. That's why I only put a couple $100 in. These weren't actual investments. These were just gambling, driven by online momentum, not actual value. People have made real money, but they were early promoters, and then you're not going to make any money for later arrivals. I don't really find any enjoyment, I guess, from gambling the money and then trying to catch these get-rich-quick schemes. So FOMO is very expensive. I don't really want to go into that. Hype-driven opportunities are rare, and they're terrible for people who join late. I would just avoid them all entirely. Do indexes or large companies, whatever you want to do. FOMO is not good, though. Ignore the noise. A framework for making decisions. Identify the opportunity. What exactly are they offering or promising? Get all your specific details. Spot your red flags. Basically, just trust your gut. If it passes that test, then do a whole bunch of research. Talk to people in the field. Look at the Wall Street Journal or whatever sources you use. Talk to friends. Talk to as many people as you can. None of this stuff's embarrassing. If you don't know it, not embarrassing. We're all learning. Run the tests. Can you afford to lose this money? Can you do it smallly? Now, this is not really geared towards stocks. This is kind of just using other platforms. And then make sure you can get documentation for everything. So you have something to verify, take legal action if you have to, or just show people. Then make your decision. Key takeaways: protect your money. Get everything in writing. Test before trusting. research and verify, know when to walk away. So even if you lose money, sometimes just walk away. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful. Please comment below if it was. Again, the whole purpose to this is just refining my thoughts, and then later down the line, I can actually distill this down into something very useful after I practice my presentation and communication skills. So thank you very much. Stay cautious. Don't live in fear, but just try to make smart, logical decisions and talk to as many people as you can. Thank you. Have a good day.